Okay. It's been a while, so please just allow me to make sure that everywhere where we need to be connected and live, that it's actually live. Bear with me since it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. But the show is back. If the noise is too much, if anything is happening, please let me know so that I can work it out. Please let me know if you can hear the stuff properly and all that. But welcome, everybody to the Overthinking Football Drive Time Show. We're back. My name is Jose Mokwena. I'm your host, and this, of course, is a place where we absolutely love South African football. And this is where we have conversations about this football that we enjoy. So today, I think it's only right to have two conversations. There's a conversation I've been wanting to have for a very long time here on the show about, obviously, Banyana played yesterday, so we can speak a little bit about that and have a bit of a review. But then more than anything, I want to speak about Mtate Zungu, Lesafa. Ubabsandi Lezungu, of course, announcing that he is going to be running for SAFA president against Danny Jordaan. And he came out and he had some very nice words to say in a press conference that he had. But that is something that we are going to speak about and Paula and about that to see what does SAFA's leadership look like in the future, and is he an actual good person for the type of leadership that we're looking for? But if it's your first time here, Monday to Thursday at 4 p.m., we're going to be here for 2 hours every day. And then, of course, on match days, if Chiefs, Pirates, Banyana, Mamelodi Sundowns, or Bafana are in action, we will also be here doing the watch-alongs as well. Sesbuile, guys, live. And remember, it's an interactive show. You are able to jump in at any time to tell me what you think about the topic at hand. Please, can you respect the people that you're listening to? If you're listening on YouTube or on Facebook and you're wondering where are these voices coming from that you're hearing, the voices that you will be hearing are actually coming from TikTok. So join me live right now on TikTok if you want to be part of the conversation. So we're going to start off with a very simple one. We're going to speak about Banyana and their performance yesterday, as they had a bit of a Istanbul nyana when dealing with Tanzania Izolo. That's where we're going to start, and then we're going to go through to speaking about the future of SAFA after we then have spoken about that. So, okay, let me start it like this. Ace of Spades.
Sure.
Welcome. Mutini not.
I mean, our average age, I think my players were supposed to retire lap. The last AFCON, so I'm having to bafunani.
You're retiring people, just like that.
Yes, but the sad part is the coach did not integrate new players.
Okay.
So I just feel we're becoming short. That squad, it's good enough to make it to the last 16, to the quarterfinals, get back door. Mara to make it to the semis, I'm for sure.
But then do you change things now? I mean, this is the same team that won the tournament 3 years ago. It's the same team that has gone to a World Cup. If it's not completely broken, why would Coach Des change it?
That's what, my problem is not about changing alone. The integration part. I think there was this colored girl, Nicole or something. Nicole, she was nippy playing on the wings.
Yeah, Nicole Michael.
I hardly saw her play.
Yeah.
You see, and then there's this girl you were familiar with, Ushongwe. Or Shongwe, she was studying at UP.
Yeah, Wendy.
I've never seen her being integrated. You see, so it is all these big players, the old ones, which I think has destroyed the national team. And it will take another 6 or 5 years to recover, because I don't think we're going anywhere.
So then, do you get rid of all of them? Refilojane, Hilda, Tembi up top. Do you get rid of everybody? Linda, all of those people?
I will just Uchina just for maybe a leadership and calmness. just to be around the squad, and then maybe 2 or 3, and then the other ones I'll start integrating. Because there's another girl who's trending on Facebook. She's playing for Juventus. She was never called on camp, glamour friendlies, nothing. Mara, she's playing a Juventus. Why singavuti nathi? Yeah.
Do you
Because
think
these Nigerians bayavuta nabo ngisho.
do you think
They
Coach
go
Des
to
is the right
fence.
coach?
I'm questioning her. I think fanele banike this analyst Suban Huldul.
Yeah, Coach Short.
Yes. They must just give her a chance, even if we go backroom staff. Just because ngendlela analyzing her, I think she needs to be given a chance to the women's game.
Mara bekakhona naye.
No, not in that way. Back on, but I don't think she had enough power. Or many Liesel strong. Yeah.
Okay,
Even
okay.
if she's not the coach, just go backroom staff somewhere, technical team or somewhere. But I have a voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna come back. I wanna bring Bongs in. Bongs!
Up to OT.
So we regular kid.
Nah, not yet. Kona kito reka this week.
Bongs, Kia Banyana gets beaten by Tanzania. How did you feel about this game?
OT, looking at the game, we did create a lot of chances, but we didn't take our chances. I didn't see Tembi coming into the game. I didn't see the Tembi that I know. I got to say Banyana to score the goals. And like you said yesterday, Hilda Makhaya was not himself. I don't know what's going on with this team.
Do you think that maybe is it just a case of time, that time has passed and unfortunately time catches up to everyone?
Yeah, time catches up with everyone. Like you always say, Sundowns, that you need to phase out players and put on new players. So Banyana ntse tshwareletse batho ba sale ba bapala ka bona since 2019. They've never tried to put on new players and see if these new players can carry them for the next 3 to 4 years again.
But then at what point do you phase them out? Because, like I said, this is possibly the most successful period. Yeah, Banyana, maybe in the last 4 or 5 years. How do you phase them out? Like, how do you phase out Xavi and Iniesta?
You need to look at the positions they shot, and like right now, position ya Sioposingwe, I can't believe hona le motho a equating at this point because there's no one a ka kgonang ho bapala jwalo ka Jermaine Sioposingwe at the moment. Since Banyana e dula e na le problem ya hore there's a shortage of players in South Africa because we have a league, but our league is too small. Ha hona di team tse ding tse kgonang ho pick out on, meaning that our pool of players are too little. Maybe we should go and look outside, maybe international to cover up those spaces that are and the players on.
Rashota, or I mean, some people have spoken about there being favoritism. Ko Banyana that the player, Bateng, Bobo Moodley, Nicole Michael, Bateng, Talia Schmidt. Those players are there, but they never get chosen. Is it a case where we don't have players, or is it just it's easier to pick these ones?
It's easier to pick these ones, but Coach Liana or Chante Atrai Hore, Akashebe passed the team it's about to bas and the ball. You can't just look at UWC and University of Cape Town only. Or Chante Otama Oloshaba, the club JD. Honali di club Kamunu, Bo, TS Galaxy Batting, Recalo Sheba, Hobo, and Nabanal Boma, Tingata, Bo, Barikin Yanaye, JVW, Bo, body university tena kaofela re ke re lo sheba go hona leng cause go bapala di university leagues le tsona re tla tsamaya lo sheba o tsona.
Marabongs, we again, is it a thing of talent? Kabani, there was that under 20 team that did well. Bobo Ludwig, I think, came from that under 20 team. We haven't seen them come through. Is it just not the same case, similar to the case of Bafana?
It's the similar case of Bafana because we rely on the same people all the time. Harabato who move on from the past, we still hang hanging on to their past.
Okay, Bongs, I'm gonna come back. Let me bring in Nkosi. Nkosi, welcome. How are you?
Ngiyaphila kunjani mfowethu?
Hayi man, ngiyaphila. Uthini ngale game Banyana izolo?
Ya mina ngizodwa ukuhluka nje. Ingathi team le imdayisile coach.
Awu. Njani?
Khona ithuba elithola ucasana, you can't miss that chance. Ibeke nje ube light uzana, I think 2 meters away.
Yeah.
So badayisa ucoach labantu, so nje ngibonile ukuthi angibazi kahle kodwa ucasana lo ngibonile ukuthi no. There is something wrong la. Enye into engiyibonayo, they are too comfortable there. Yabo leyo nto iyabashaya kakhulu. Ngisho i-style of play, they are too comfortable as if badlala bodwa kanti badlala phela nama-international players nabo, yabo.
Yeah.
So angazi kodwa nje mina ngibona ukuthi okwathi i-coach bamdayisile. The only abantu bedlala into okuyiyo ila abadlala emuva, la abadlala from middle kuya phambili badlala into engekho. Angazi noba khona akuyona nje banyana le ngiyaziyo imiselayo le, asikho that spark.
But then senza njani then kuya phambili then? Do we get rid of some of the players? Do you get rid of the coach? Uyilungisa kanjani le ndaba? Ilunga kanjani?
Yeah, no, that's up to the coach because into efuna siyenze manje, it's either we change a coach or ucoach uba strict azi ukuthi ngifuna la abantu abazongidlalela, hayi ukuthi udlale ngenxa ukuthi labo yabazi, yabo. So ucoach must pick manje abantu the one who knows ukuthi bazomdlalela yena as a coach, because laba ngiyasola ungathi khona ukubhunga. Khumbula last AFCON ukuthi kwaba khona ixabano khona ngenxa yalapha epalini, kuthiwa epalini khona ongafakwanga bekumele afakwe, uyakhumbula?
Yeah.
So iyangangathi that thing iyabuya manje, ndibuya against ucoach, yabo.
Okay, then it's Ingbuze, and this is going to be a question for everybody. Ngicala ngawe Nkosi.
Yes.
What do you ufaka bani ke? Because sonke siyakhuluma ukuthi isifuna ukutshintsha ucoach Des. Ngena bani ngoba that job has a lot of politics and things that coach Des unfortunately unceda maybe the team by staying through some of those things. Ngangena bani khona lapha?
Actually mina I don't think ukuthi kumele sitshintshe ucoach, kodwa ucoach kumele ukuthi abe nalento ekuthiwa i-backbone. Yena okhetha abadlali abazo, because ukushintsha ngeke usisize. Kodwa nje mangathola ucoach abe nomuntu ozomtshela, yabona coach wena just khetha abadlali abazodlala. Muzukhetha ngokusibani uyaziwa or kuyakhulunywa ngayo what noma udlalela iphi team. Just khetha your team then oyithembayo, then after singaxosha yena-ke uma kuba kasayenzi that thing.
And Makabanga, do you think how much of a problem is SAFA in all of this?
Yabona i-problem management iningi kakhulu, yilabo ama-official money iningi kakhulu. So mangathiwa kukhulunywa ngayo, that is why mina ngistika la kucoach sibayeke labo bangemva kwakhe, because ucoach uyena umuntu esimbonayo la eduzane. I-influence iyakubona abanayo kuyena iningi kakhulu, kodwa uyena kumele ayiyeke loo nto, because ekugcineni thina siblame ucoach, because ngeke phela sihambe siyoblame i-office, uyayibona le. So thina soblame lokhu yena simbonayo ungawenza umsebenzi, which is uyena kumele ukuthi abe ne-backbone manje athi yabona imini engidila ne-team ngizochuza lo ozongidlalela uzokwenza lento engiyidingayo, lo angizomthatha ngenxa yokuthi use-comfortable la team. That means ifana nalento yasephalamende ahlale 30 years umuntu, so agcine sengathi umsebenzi wakhe kanti phela i-South Africa.
Ngiyakuzwa Nkosi. Guys, before I continue, don't forget to tap the screen. Tap the screen, guys. Please tap the screen. This is the first topic. The second topic, we're actually going to speak about SAFA directly because Babzungu has thrown his hat into the ring. And I want us to have a discussion about him, about Danny, about how do you change SAFA, and is this the change that we need? So that is going to be the second topic for today. But let me go to Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades, must change to Desiree. When we take out Desiree, or you want to take out Desiree, who follows? And do you trust SAFA to make the right choice after that?
I don't trust the SAFA, but for now, who I can say could follow? I will negotiate each chance, and then amongst, I'm not sure with the names, the high performance coach for the females at UP. So we can have a link to integration to the first team. So I'll just give them those two and then any random names, because I believe Ulus invest time and it grow their football will pay a lot to South Africa, because I just think Desiree isikhathi sakhe sesifikile where like esecoacha ngehistory, but I just feel udludlu. Like I listened to a documentary yakho what happened to her ngendlela Banyana kicked her out, all ama politics. So I just believe ukuthi she will be the main lady ofuna prove a point.
Yeah.
So I will just give her as the head coach or assistant, and ngithola nomuntu we high performance yase UP for the ladies team to integrate ama under 20 to the first team.
If I'm not mistaken, and guys in the comments, please correct me, I think Coach Maud from Tux has now taken up a permanent position inside the SAFA structures, I think for under 20. So she should be available for the national team to use if possible. But she has been available up to this point, so I don't know what type of communication happens that side. But let me go to Bongs. Bongs, if we change Coach Des, who do you bring in, and do you trust Safa to make the right choice?
Oti, I think we should go the Moroccan way. Lo rona re mpe re zame a male figure for this team. How about re try Pitso Mosimane re bone re na Pitso ta tshwara the ladies jwang. Ha ka sebetsa le coach Mendy Dludlu re bone na re batla sebetsa jwang.
Why do you think it's time for a male voice?
No, I think it's time for a change. Re bone fela re na o tla tlisa a different approach to the ladies, because from what I was seeing yesterday, our shooting was very poor. Maybe o tla sebetsana le the way re shootang ka teng, le the way re creating our chances. Because the way we created the chances tsa rona ka teng, Timbi couldn't even get a chance to smell the post. The way Timbi re motsebang ka teng, hore wow go hore ke snipe. But now if re ka kra motho ka kgonang ho sebetsana le the way re passang ball forward, maybe a male point of view could be the change we need for our women's football.
Mara, if male point of view, what's going to happen when they have to come this side?
In the men's side, it's always dominated by Pirates, and Pirates fans have fostered their players should be there. And you know, the Pirates players have never done anything significant when it comes to Bafana. But when it comes to Banyana, whatever Sundowns is the most successful team in the women's side of football at the moment. Ke bona bana le Champions League tse ngata, ke bona ba dulang ba winner Hollywood bets. So maybe something could happen if we can try a male point of view. For this time, we can try something different.
Okay. No, Bongs, thank you so much. Guys, feel free to request. I've still got a couple of minutes here that I'm gonna speak on this topic. We're gonna change at 4:30. But if I can just jump in, I think I've seen Banyana play badly. I've seen Banyana play amazing football. I've seen them, we've watched them in different places, especially here on the show. I think what was worrying about yesterday was specifically that it seemed like they weren't coming together. And when you've watched the World Cup now and you saw Spain winning the World Cup, I wonder if this is not just also a sign of the times in football, that you have to at some point move away from having a star-based team and actually build a team that can go forward. And it's not to say that the stars are bad, it's not to say that the golden generation needs to be moved out, but I think at some point you're going to clash. And sometimes you have to make the choice between being Belgium and still trying to get the last out of Kevin De Bruyne, get the last out of certain people, or you can become a Spain, where it was a team-based thing. It was, De La Fuente is not necessarily one of the most highly regarded coaches. You look at the team, Kibo Merino, Kibo Olmo, Kibo Orazabal, is people that maybe you wouldn't put number one on the list of the things of the players and people that you'd want to have. And I think that was also born out of necessity, because a Spanish team, for example, had Bo Xavi, Bo Iniesta, and they held on to Bo Busquets and those guys for so long that when it broke. And they needed, by necessity, to look at that. So I think what's happening with Banyana right now, I believe, is that we're getting to the point where a choice is going to be forced on us, because you're not going to be able to integrate all of the sides of that team. If you look at what happened yesterday, for me, you could see bo Mudli Salgado, bo Cesane, bo Ramalipe want to play a connecting football. You know, they want to pass it around. You saw them playing triangles and you saw them doing different things on the one side and not necessarily playing up to the players that had been there for a while. And we know that the players who had been there for a while, or the players who were starters for a while, Bojane, Bomahaya, Bokhatlane, there was a football that we saw from them. It was, a lot of that football unfortunately was, play the ball long, try to catch the other team as they're pushing up on you, and allow Tembi to look at people 1v1. Allow Tembi to look at people and take on people, and her and Hilda and Jermaine would create attacks almost out of nothing. But now you're looking at some of the unfancied teams, just like about Tanzania, who are coming in with a plan, and they're saying, you know what, guys, let's chill. Let's wait, let's bide our time, let's score, let's do all of those things, and then we can retreat and play our game. I mean, Tanzania only had 2-3 clear-cut chances, and they took the 2 of those chances, right? And maybe that's the question we need to ask. And the reason why I'm saying that it feels like it's a fight is that I remember watching the Algeria game here, and then I did some reviews where it felt like there were 2 Banyanas and they were being trialed. The first game versus Algeria, you saw a lot of the newer, and I'm saying newer not because they're new, but I think they're getting chances, where it was a team of completely them. They knocked the ball, they controlled the ball, they could play, Mara never shot a little bit with that final, execution to go score goals. Then you had the team that was Abotembi, who know exactly what they need to do. You get the ball, you play the ball up, you put yourselves into 1v1s. Tembi is star. Malume Kutso calls her our Thierry Henry, and she scores and goes home. Right? Like, it's simple. They knew exactly what to do. But now you're watching Coach Des, to her credit, trying to merge those 2 teams. And what's happening is that Laba Bamnanda but Pasipola are getting the game because the legs are maybe gone a little bit from the other side, but the other side can't mesh with these ones that are new. So now you're watching the team fight, and unfortunately, what's going to happen, similar to a lot of the teams, similar to Abu Germany, similar to Abu Belgium, you'll get to a point where it'll be forced upon you, where you go home early from a tournament, right? And now you're forced to look at yourself, or somebody gets injured, or somebody retires. Jermaine retired, guys, for whatever reason. But Jermaine made the choice for the team, and she was like, guys, I've got a nice career now. I think she just won the league in Mexico again. I will retire myself. I will step aside and I will make room, or for whatever reason, if there's politics, if there's whatever's going on, I am as keeper. And unfortunately, you can't wait for that. Because another problem that you saw from Banyana is there have been players that have been passed over. We're speaking about a Wendy, for example. Wendy nearly star kwamatax, star kwamatax. Never quite got the chance to be a star and to grow within the national team. Yes, she got some games here and there, similar to Abu Salgado, similar to Bamudli, similar to Abu Kasane, who were in the setup but didn't quite get to play in the setup. All right? So those players are now part of a generation that's moving on. Abu Talia Smith, I've mentioned now. So what's going to happen is that there was a time when you could be carried by the star players to a certain degree. But now those star players, unfortunately, also maybe, if you're not going to play their football, they don't have enough juice to continue carrying the team on their backs. Are you going to pass by Abu Ludwig? Are you going to pass by Abu Machia, these ones that are there? Or are you going to give them an actual chance? Ongama, welcome. Hi, Tins.
How are you? OP?
Ngimnandi man, ngimnandi. Umuntu kudala wahamba. Seningibizwa OP. Alpha, welcome. Oh, who's talking to me now? Who's talking to me now? Ukhuluma bani?
Let me speak because ithi ngicela ukukhuluma butwana.
Umi ubani? U-Alpha?
Yeah, yimi Alpha.
Oh, Alpha, go ahead. Ubonani la kubanyana?
Yeah, into engiyibonayo, I think we have reached the point that you were speaking about with Bafana.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is that this is a point where you need to change or adapt new systems and new tactics. Because you remember before Hugo Bruce took over the Bafana structure, we relied heavily on, I think it was Orlando Pirates, if not Kaizer Chiefs. Then Hugo Bruce came in, told the league that you need to develop, you need to increase your intensity. The league increased the intensity where we saw Mamelodi Sundowns dominating those plays, going to CAF Champions League, buying those players and exploring options where they increased that technical side of the game. All right. So I'm looking at the Hollywood bet. Agereke Hollywood bet ya Banyana.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm seeing one trend that I think maybe the other teams should also do, like Orlando Pirates, like Stellenbosch, like all those Betway Premiership teams, whereby you challenge the team that is on top. Because we can't have a Mamelodi Sundowns that is dominating all these years in the Hollywood bets, and yet we still have a UJ or a UWC that is not quite challenging that gameplay. You understand? So that is the reflection of what we saw yesterday, where we saw players from Mamelodi Sundowns being comfortable with each other, and those who maybe were playing for Mamelodi Sundowns, now they're playing overseas, they're comfortable with playing with each other. But you watch a small player who's coming from not a Mamelodi Sundowns, but a team like UWC, playing with those people. They lack understanding. They don't know which time to move, where to move, and how to do things. There was a player yesterday that I watched. I think they were two of them playing, I think, on the side. They wanted to make that move of, maybe I can say, a Kuriso Mutau and also in a police, where one comes in to become an extra 10 and the other one occupies that wider space, giving us the width. You see? So yesterday I was trying to navigate what is really happening, and I saw the one that was Kimangwa Hebelte White. I forgot her name.
Kesan.
Yeah, Tesani. She was coming inside, but what stressed me, it was most of the time when she came inside, she dropped in too deep, and when she dropped in too deep, it left our striker being alone. That's why we didn't see a lot of creativity and a lot of I can say chances, because the person that was meant to become an extra 10 in order for that creative space to be more intense was dropping too deep, and that thing I did not understand it, you see. So one thing that I think Banyana should do, maybe going to the next game or even after the AFCON, maybe going to, if we get over this AFCON and we qualify for the World Cup, I think the coach should sit down with these players and tell them, or sit down with the league coaches and tell them that, guys, you need to challenge Mamelodi Sundowns. You need to make sure that each and every time you have at least a team or two in the CAF Champions Women's, in the CAF structures, because that also helps us. We saw with Mamelodi Sundowns, the males team. We saw with Orlando Pirates. We saw with Kaizer Chiefs. And we saw with Stellenbosch. Once you have players playing outside of the borders of South Africa, those players immediately when they get to the national team, they can teach these other ones that, you know what, first 10 minutes, let's read the opponent. Let's not throw everything. The last 10 minutes the last 10 minutes are minutes of concentration. You need to concentrate. If you have to keep the ball in order for you to be effective and in order for you to defend well, you need to keep the ball. Yesterday we saw a Banyana team that lacked that. They kept the ball sharp, but what did they do with the ball?
Okay.
The ball was kept mostly by the defenders. The two center back pairing, firstly, they had communication, but one of them used to jump out a lot. I saw a tackle, I think it was, yeah, I saw a tackle that she jumped out, she won the ball. It was a phase of transition. You have to attack the opponent after winning the ball. What did she do? She passed the ball, they lose it again. But now I'm thinking, okay, you jumped out, you won the ball, you pass the ball, you lose it. What is the next step now? We can't joke. We have a striker that both the Algerian strikers. They are both physical. We have two center back pairing that is not that physical. Yes, they have good technique, but now what do? We have to come back to regroup. Let's try and make sure that we break them properly, because we have a striker up there that we know is lethal. She only got one chance. How many chances did she get? She got only one chance. So I think our coach needs to sit down with those Hollywood head coaches and tell them that, guys, I need you to compete. Just like how Hugo Bruce did. Hugo Bruce came forward and said, guys, you are not competing. The reason why you see Mamelodi Sundowns dominating the national team is because those people have experience. They are going out, playing out those cup finals. They are playing each and every season. They are playing outside of the borders.
But to be fair, Sundowns was already doing that, and they didn't quite have competition until, I'd say, literally last season.
Yes, you see how you are saying it, but let's look at when Mamelodi Sundowns was dominating. Pirates was also trying to challenge them. You understand? Pirates, yes, they didn't have numbers in the national team. Yes, let us be honest. Let us be honest. Pirates, when Mamelodi Sundowns was dominating, what did Pirates do? Pirates made sure that when they play their football, they advance. They make sure that they have something to challenge. We saw a Mamelodi Sundowns losing to a Pirates team in the Nedbank Cup, in the MTN finals. We saw that. What do we see in the Hollywood bets today? You go to a Hollywood bet, you watch a Mamelodi Sundowns play against a UJ. The UJ team loses 5-0. We go into the national team, you take a player from UJ, she goes there, there's nothing she can do, because now she's not used to playing in games where they need you to be disciplined, where they need you to say, okay, mfana vaya, mina ngizosala. You understand? So we need that. I think the coach now needs to sit down with those players and tell them that, guys, from this minute to this minute, I need you to concentrate. From this minute to this minute, I need you to attack. You have the first 5 minutes. You always speak about the first 5 minutes.
Last statement here. No, I'm just giving you that last statement, please.
You always.
Yes,
I want to close it right now. So the first 5 minutes, you read the opponent. What is the opponent trying to do? And then you try and force them under your plan, right? So the last 10 minutes is whereby you now manage the game. If you are leading, you now say sharp, Masbambi Paula, then let's force them to open up. You see, so like Banyana needs that. The leaders in the structures need to sit down with the players, sit down with the coaches, and say, guys, we need a way forward. But for now, I think they need to just work on those little things, or go back to the roots where you played against Japan and play that game, play that starting lineup, and adjust it from there. That's all I can say.
Before I go to Ray, Mara JP, I'd like you to define what challenge is, because I'm not sure the challenge was a challenge. If in all the years of Ribeiro, the closest he came was 9 points in the league, and there was a 12 points and a 23 points in that same run. And to be fair to the Hollywood Bets League, UWC, I think it was a year or two ago, tried, but then also UWC was a Champions League playing team as well. They played in one of the Champions League, so it's tough. And of course, I mean, Bobo Donnelly come from UWC to Sundowns, so they were there. But let me go to Ray. Ray?
Mr. OT, Mr. OT, Mr.
Dinsangre.
OT. Bonjour, Mr. OT. Espanol, Mr. OT.
Hey, man. ¿Cómo estás,
Hey,
man?
hey, Mr. OT. Hey, you were there in Spain, Spain, Mama Bega, Madrid. Hey, Mr. OT.
Eish, siyazama bona sinamathima ngale now. This is Leganes. Sinamathima ngale.
Mr. OT, azange uzamele iBarcelona yana, Mr. OT. Wangenza so,
Barcelona
Mr. OT.
ikude, Barcelona ikude. Mina bengisenechurena,
Hawu.
iBarcelona ile eRichards Bay.
Oh, kanti wawuphi lapha eSpain uba? Azange ube lapha eBarcelona.
I was in Madrid.
Ayi, Mr. OT, asiyeke, Mr. OT, asixubeke, Mr. OT, nebanyana
Uthini
banyana.
ngale game ayizolo, banyekele zaseSpain, khona ezaseMorocco.
Eish. Hayi, Mr. OT, ayi, inkinga, Mr. OT, ayi, banyana, Mr. OT, ayi, there's a lot of problems, Mr. OT, I won't lie, you know. I feel like Coach Desiree, she needs to ask herself a serious question. OT, kahle, like, do you know how to manage this team? You know, do you know how to manage this team? Because right now, Nedbank, she has favoritism, you know, and those favoritism, they are in their 30s, Mr. OT, you know. Yes, you know, abanye bayokhala uthi like age is just a number, but guys, look how you guys playing, you know. Some of you guys, like, you're not putting that work that I used to watch them. Back then, Mr. OT, when I was watching them, about review, I think I was still in grade 8, grade 7. Now I'm done with school.
Yeah, man.
And she's still playing AFCON, Mr. OT. I was like, nah, for me, that's scary.
Still, like here. Who's
No,
better?
it's scary, Mr. OT. No, it's scary. Young Tusaland, OT, no, she can't continue playing for Banyana, Mr. OT. Because, like, Banyana needs to focus on building a new players. Yeah, well, there's the number 2000 who are coming up, players who are still in their 20s, you know. For me now, Mr. OT, like,
Marare, namkhalela uThemba Zwane ana 35. Hey,
aye,
namkhalela.
Mr. OT, don't compare.
Why nifuna ukhipha uRifilwe who won the AFCON 2 years ago? Mara ningitshela ngokuThemba Zwane bekangekho this whole time abe injured simfuna still.
Nah, mina azange ngimfune uThembazane uHugo Bruce wemfakile nenkani. Lesibonile uThembazane bebahila ibhenchi la, badla ama-ice lapha, babhizi baphuza amanzi.
Mara quality is quality.
Yes, quality is quality, but look, Mr. OT, let's be honest, not everyone can be like Messi and Ronaldo. Not everyone can be like them. Those ones are quality. Those are gifted players. Those are hard worker players. Not everyone can be like them, you know. At least the World Cup, we watch them doing well, but not like, you know, not everyone has that thing, that boom, you know. So for me now, I feel like Coach Desiree needs to build a new team, you know. I'm sorry. If she can't, she needs to leave. She needs to resign or something because no, Mr. OT.
Brother, can I just jump in there? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna come back. I just want to observe protocol. Phela uPrathemba makafikile isikhathi sakhe ngiyasazi. Mara Ray is so I'm gonna come back. Prathemba.
Oh,
Hey, good afternoon, my good sir. How are you?
I'm good at you, Prathemba.
Happy New Year to you too. The season is just starting, so it's a new year to some of us, yeah.
Prathemba,
Hey.
na indaba Banyana, Prathemba.
Hey, Ure Ray is hitting hard, and I can tell you for free that I work close to Banyana. That, you know, sometimes we speak with emotion, and like you rightfully say, we about the Tembazwane issue. We are sometimes, as lovers of football, as fans, we become hypocritical. Not directed to you, Ray. Don't take it personal. But Refugee Journey has got what it takes to be at that level. As a matter of fact, she's just declined 2 offers for overseas move because she feels she needs to give back to the game like I. And she's there. And 2022, I spent 4 weeks of my time in Morocco for the WAFCON. And I can tell you, they were still much younger. Tina say South Africa simoshwa childhood success, or should I say young success. Remember in 2022, when you're saying you were still at school, they were even at school, some of these girls. We can tell you about Abonoksi, Tsesane, Bombani. They were still very young, all of them. Andile Dlamini, very, very young. They were still within the teenage stages. So don't get alarmed. Like, for instance, I can just drag it and say, Urilebile Mufokeng wins young footballer of the season yesterday. And then one fan says, it can't be that he's winning it again. Young footballer of the season. You know what causes that? It's because once somebody starts achieving at a much younger age, by the time when they are supposed to be now achieving, they've done it all. Yamal, for instance. What more must the boy do? He's only, tell me his age?
19, 18, 19.
18.
18.
He's going to play how many World Cups to come?
Yo, he's
3 or 4 World
three or
Cups to
four,
come.
yeah.
Yeah. So will you complain ukuthi Yamal dala alapo ingosi yakho today beyisaseskela when he won the 2026? Early achievement, early success can cause people to have doubts. From my side, I was the one who was saying to Desiree, if you can listen to the interviews, I was saying to Desiree, you've got a good mix of the young and the old. Maybe you can say Desiree did not have much faith on the young and new players, your 18-year-olds, your 17-year-olds, because the stage is quite big. But and she wanted to go with them, tried and tested, so that her journey becomes easy. She wanted to emphasize the point and scare the opponent with all the starting players that she had on there. I mean, Abu Salgado there, both of them, which was history, by the way, to have a married couple playing in the same team for a national team in the AFCON. In the AFCON. It's history. We've never seen that before. Personally, I don't know, maybe other people have seen it. Because the Salgados, Nomutli, they are married, and it's very awkward for, just inside info, it's very awkward for the technical team, the logistics manager to say, okay, when you sleep in that room, they say, but we are married. What are you saying? You see some of the things that I want to give you from inside. So let's not look at it from the face value, chance. Let's respect our girls. Let's not do the disrespect and the injustice that was done last night, where we have a local award ceremony and the WAFCON important game for Banyana 2027 Brazil qualifier tournament. Idlalwa same time Nama Awards, and then you find there's nothing said about Banyana. Of course, if I talk about Banyana, I can say a lot. The SAFA themselves, the ministry themselves, of course, the deputy minister went, but where is the hype around Banyana from the government? Where is it? Who was wearing a t-shirt of Banyana is all? Yes, South Africa is all. Who was told to wear it? No one. It was just another ordinary day where we were all looking forward to the awards. You can ask so many people, when did they know that Banyana was playing? Now, let's start pointing fingers at ourselves, which we don't giving our ladies the support that they deserve. It's a world phenomenon. It's not only now here. It's not only now with Banyana. Every country, they complain. I'm going to say to you, Ray, if I may direct it to you, give me 5 players, female players. 5 is too much. 3 who are well paid in the world of football. They are football. Give me 2 teams that boast the sponsorship that Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs have in the whole world. Give me. There isn't.
It's a world. I don't know.
It's a world phenomenon, my brother. Women's football is not taken serious everywhere. And let me flip the coin. The very same bafana that we fight and love and boast about, we've broken the new ground. I'm sorry to take your time, guys.
No.
I'm sorry to take. I'm sorry to take your time. Women's sport is not respected in this country and in the world. Women's cricket, our very same Proteas, we're playing the World Cup now recently. But the male sevens were trending more than the Spa Proteas, the Proteas who were playing the World Cup. Why is that? So we, Tina, as a country or as a world, we still so much into, I don't want to use the term patriarchy or sexist or what. We don't respect the women's sport. We always look at them as secondary citizens. And let's bring it home to South Africa. Banyana have achieved more than
They've won the AFCON.
Bafana in the past 10 years. In the past 10 years, let's just take it to the past 10 years. Banyana has achieved more than Bafana. Put it on paper. That's why you see some of us are big SAFA enemies, because we tell them what they don't want to hear.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Pratemba. Can maybe you shine a light on the amount of, I don't know how to put it lightly, the amount of cover up and not cover up, the amount of work that Coach Des has to do to cover a lot of the shortfalls in South African football in terms of the women's side?
Not only here, it starts at the local level. It starts at the local level, at the grassroots level, at development, How often, let me ask you the same question now, Uti.
Yeah.
How often have you walked to your nearest playing ground and then watched the girls, abana 9 years, abana 11 years, Bazalipol?
Not 9 and 11. Not 9 and 11. I think mine is unfair because I was at Tax, but not now, not recently.
Yeah,
but, hey,
exactly. But would you now take your chem chain and go and do that today? You walk past them or drive past them, whichever way you want to use, and go to the nearest site where you're watching Dwanes under 15, because you want to document them as a journalist. You want to document them and write a story. You are Vino Snap, you want to go and take pictures of that young boy who's going to break into Orlando Pirates, School of Excellence, Orlando Pirates eventually, and go and play in Denmark the other day.
Yeah.
And then he plays in the World Cup. All of those stories, we want quick fix stories. Who documented Andy Ledlamini when he was playing at the Blue Flyma, Emma Femin, Orlando Lape Power Station, where she practices when she was still staying in a one-room, back room rendiwe. I have all of that. I have all of that. You know, I've followed Refilo Jani because back then, when she started playing football, I went to her home and wrote a piece about her and did interviews with her. Where were you? And guess who were my friends at that time? Your Portia Mudizes, your Carboninas, you know, all of these people. Your Desiree Ellis, the same Desiree Ellis. So those are the people that I was covering. But anyway, it's not about me, but it's about women's football. Had we given it just a little notch up to say to the young ladies who are getting into journalism, protect your own, go there. I mean, if you can take it back, the only tournament that does the right thing for women is the Solomon Sticks Morewa Challenge. The pay parity prevails there. Player of the match, Gumachita. Player of the match, Gumacheri. If this one gets a pair of boots and a check, 5,000 rand, Nangapa, the same thing. Yeah. The winners of the male category, the seniors, they get 120,000 rand. Even the ladies get 120,000 rand. Although the teams each year, they're still about 8 teams. But as much it as 32 or 36, whatever the amount may be, the number may be. So we've got a lot to go, not as a country. We can be quick to say, hey, Desiree can go, hey, if it doesn't make the change. It's difficult for them to find even credible players, you know, who you can point and say, goodness me, you know. So there's quite a lot that we need to fight. Even in the PSL, how many teams are giving Desiree the leeway to say, oh, maybe she can choose from team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until 16. No, she can't. She can choose from TS Galaxy, JVW, Mamelodi Sundowns,
UWC maybe.
You know, maybe go to varsities. Where varsity football, male and female, is pretty dominant and a little bit structured. Yeah. You know? But I'm sorry, it's just me talking, and because this is my passion.
I think, Pratemba, well, okay, at least I know from my side that, can you also, I want to ask you something, Pratemba. Can you also speak on how this thing, because I see a comment saying here that sponsors don't follow gender, but eyes and male football has. Can you speak on maybe even that perception is a little bit flawed? because we tend to. Personally, I don't like saying women's football. I don't like saying women's football because
It is what it is.
when you say
Because
women's football, yeah.
Because we've bottled it that way. Remember, we're living in a sexist country. I'm going to say something. As a parent, I'm not supposed to look at it that way, but I'm just going to say, to put it clear, when you look at the women that play football, the first thing that you ask yourself as a person, as a man, are they straight or lesbian, right? Which should not be the case. You even look at them, how they walk, how they dress, where their pants are when they play, and then other people even go to an extent of creating sick jokes about them. And we've normalized all of that. I mean, I'm talking from me to you as you are my buddy, you are my friend, OT, you are my boy, and you know the human respect that I have for these girls and all of it. I wasn't going to talk on this. You know, you must know, OT, you know very well, I don't take invites to podcasts. I don't comment on online things because I'm avoiding fans. I have the facts, the information, the know-how, the track record and everything, but a fan has got emotions and the voice. So I know I sound very wrong, but that's why I avoid getting into such platform. But your platform, I respect it. I come there. I decline invites to podcasts because when you go to podcasts, you must speak ill of some people at some point so that you can get numbers. I don't believe in that. But anyway,
I think, Pratemba, here's what I always say.
I hope Ray, I didn't paralyze you.
No, Pratemba, this is what I always say. And the guys here will know. I have one rule. And they were joking about it, Agent and Malume Kutso yesterday, but I have one rule, is that here we talk the football.
Yes.
And part of taking it seriously as well, at least from my side, is that I want to hear about the tactical changes and things, because what I've seen as well, to just reply to the person who was speaking about men's and women's football, sometimes we give so much credit to the same men's football that we don't watch. Nobody is watching my KC playing versus, I don't know, Kruger United, for example.
You are right.
But we have this belief, that, you know, every game, PSL is filled to the brim and fans are buying jerseys and all of that stuff, which is markedly not true. In fact, some of the things that we support, I remember asking somebody, remember when, this is a specific one, remember when Desiree joined Brighton?
Yeah.
And people were calling him a genius. And people were talking about, have you watched a Brighton game in your life? No. So how much of that comes down to perception? And I think that's where the problem lies when we speak about not just women's football, South African football as a whole. None of marketing and none of all that stuff has to do with the actual game. Very few of those things.
Can I tell you something? One of the studies that I'm doing now, as I go and interview people follow the badge, not the club itself. People follow the colors of their jersey. That's why you see people not knowing a player that their team has signed, whereas there is a Makogolo at Amazulu now, the hottest player, right? Who bangs in goals like nothing on earth, who is the player of the season at Amazulu, who I'm saying big three are sleeping on this one, right? But people will, the day that Kaizer Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns sign Makogolo, uba and manjelo. Because we are so badge driven and color driven that we even forget those badges and colors belong to football. People love their clubs, not the football. They claim to love football, they don't.
But even the clubs, there's a lot of work that is done. So, for example, Pratemba, we've had the conversation here about marketing, why the Springboks seem to be everywhere versus every other team. A simple thing like Banyana playing. So many times we wake up here at 3 a.m. to watch Banyana. No one knows they're playing. Now it's a WAFCON. We literally come from a World Cup where people are being flown that side for games. And, you know, what Banbani was calling Banbani. And now a WAFCON is happening and nothing is said. I mean, even just watching Refilo Jane and Janine lifting the trophy 2022, we don't even see those things, those clips. And we wonder why there's no support. Then you speak about the Chiefs, for example, the amount of work that Abo Kemiso and Abo Jessica and the machine of Chiefs has to do to make sure that they're viable. It's not just because it's quality football or because it's men or it's because of this or that. There's things that you do. And I think sometimes when you have conversations, especially about women's football, we miss those things. Like, for example, I remember saying here, why doesn't the women's team, Sundowns, have 2 stars? Why isn't their jersey, 2 stars, Yabona, after they've won the Champions League twice, for example? Why doesn't Adidas do what Le Coq Sportif did and say, this is Banyana's jersey? You know what I mean? I'm just using an example. Those are the small little things, Pratemba, that we take for granted, I think. And what I struggle with is that we love to label it as women, or it's because of women's game. What was Kalanga the same thing, Pratemba, in the men's game?
OT, we've got so much to talk about and unpack when it comes to women football, without even trying to find the equalities between female and male football players. There's quite a lot of imperatives between these two genres within the same genre of the music called football. So me and you, is our responsibility and duty to educate the masses about what needs to happen, what has happened, where we went wrong, where we could get it right, and where we are going as a football nation that we claim to be. So there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot. I was telling the very same minister, Gayton McKenzie, I said to him, Gayton, what are you doing to empower young journalists? And then you know what the response was? Because if I'm a sports journalist, I'll go to school for it and become a sports journalist and major in football, rugby, and cricket. Those are my 3 subjects that I've done. And number 1 predominantly being football, soccer, and then rugby will follow number 2. Number 3 will be cricket, which are the demographics of the country. The rest, netball, hockey, volleyball, swimming, all of them, they'll fall down the pecking order. But the main 3 sports of the country, based on the demographics, those are the 3 that I've mentioned. And Morocco, we go to the previous AFCON, they sent 120 journalists. 120 journalists. Whether you're from a big media house or a small media house, they said, look, we're not taking anyone else, but we want to take people who will write our story, who will learn about us as we are bidding for the next World Cup. We want people who will tell our tale to the world. Now Moroccan story is everywhere. Everyone is excited and interested about Moroccan football and everything. Me now, who have spent at least a month and a half in Morocco, I can tell you for free that, to add on to what Dr. Pitso Mosimane said, Morocco is 20 years ahead of everyone. We can deny it all we like, but those guys are 20 years ahead. Which tournament have they not bidded and hosted? They take everything. So okay, Morocco mangsuka South Africa sengathi nge-taxi rank. It's everything is just happening there. But we get to miss the bigger milestone. I know Guti, I'm out a bit. Somebody asked here on your comments to say, why don't they take people to Morocco? Influencers, something like that. Mamel, our government, Department of Sport, Bona themselves, knowing that Banyana is playing AFCON 2026, July, they should have said, okay, kule budget is now sports, recreation. Let's rather take part of it and keep it for the fanfare in Morocco, right? It's companies like Sasol that mean when I went to Morocco and then I said, I'm supposed to stay for a week in Morocco for the first 2 matches and then come back. Sasol said, no. Actually, we're upgrading you to a higher hotel. We are paying for everything because we love the work that you have done. Because it was just me and the guy from 2 guys from SABC who were doing the feed from that side to all the media houses in the country. So it should tell you, Guti, there's a lot that we are not doing justice on when it comes to these young ladies that we have. But let's just leave it. I'm flat tired from Orlando Pirates now. So for now,
Pratemba, accreditation. Tina, we're giving a credit. You can't even. get a sponsor to go somewhere. I got given accreditation. We've been covering Banyana ever since, but even now, which other place is having a conversation about this, Pratemba? We were watching them go Jamaica. We watched Champions League. Sundowns, Bo UWC when they were knocked out even the year before. We cover varsity football and all of the stuff. Horukre sponsor or something. Retlaemela or barela teko Spain. But
OTT,
anyway,
it's been real talking to you.
thank you, Prati.
I'm glad that the new year is starting. We'll watch more football.
Hey, Prati. No, thank you, Prati.
Thank you so much, sir.
Ray Satsamaile. Let me go to Mrem.
He got paralyzed.
He's gonna come. Murai.
Hey, how's it, man?
I'm good in you, Murai.
No, I'm good. I love watching. So today I just decided to come in and say something.
Thank you for the support, okay.
Yeah, what you're talking about is sad, but I don't want to dwell on the business side of it. I want to go to the match itself. Yeah, honestly, I'm disappointed a little bit in 2 or 3 players, the selection from Desiree. I feel like there's a subconscious bias to certain clubs, you know.
Okay.
Specifically, I would say Western Cape University, because the assistant is also coaching there. I feel like it's not conscious. I feel like that they're not doing it intentionally, but because you work with this player, you know them, you trust them, you know, it makes them you lean towards them more, you know. And I feel like there are players like Nicole Michaels from TS Galaxies. She's fast. She's almost as fast as Tebi Khadlan. There are players like Semeida. She's old, but she's scoring the goals, guys.
Yeah.
So should we sacrifice her goals for a younger player? Like, I feel like I would have appreciated a goal yesterday than a younger player, if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, and to the match.
But then can I push back on something?
Yeah.
Isn't the hardest thing sometimes in all sports? Isn't the hardest thing knowing when to let go? When there's recency that says that these players have been successful. So, for example, you would maybe lean towards Sundowns because obviously we know what they do in the Betway, even though they struggled a bit. I know in the Champions League, they didn't qualify, I think, last year. But UWC was pretty much the only team that was chasing Sundowns in the Hollywood Bets League. Wouldn't you still feel like the bias is justified? Especially, for example, Thembi Kgatlana, we know what type of form she's on in the club. I think Linda just won the league in Scotland. Is it unconscious bias or is it
actually, by the way, I could say 80% of the squad. I agree with 80% of the squad. I don't have a problem with Kgatlana, with Jane, with Dlamini. I don't have a problem with most of them. It's just that I just felt actually, I don't even like saying names, but I felt like Robin Moodley should not be in the team. I feel like we could get someone who's doing much better than her. I feel even Magia, I feel like she has not done enough as a striker to be. I would even prefer Mokoma over Magia if it was me. So it was just a matter of two players, especially Nicole Michaels, because what is our strength as Banyana when we play big teams? Our strength is our skill, our technical ability, and our speed. Because we're gonna be playing a counter attack if we're playing a bigger team, maybe in England or whatsoever. We're not gonna play the football that we wanna play. So we need speed. And Kgatlana right now, she's older. She can't go 90 minutes running that way. So I felt Nicole would have compensated in that regard. And honestly, I'm biased towards her because, and also something that we lack is strength, height and strength. So someone like Colosa in the middle, I feel like as much as we should include young players, I feel like, she's strong and she has the range in terms of passes. I feel she should have been there. But in terms of the game, I feel like most Banyana games, I feel like they go the way yesterday's game went.
Yeah.
But the only difference is that they score the goals,
chances.
so you don't get to negatively comment on it because they win the game. But the only difference yesterday was the fact that they didn't score the goal, so now we can criticize everything because they didn't win the game. But most Banyana game, I could feel they lack, I could say, everybody knowing their role. For example, as in a corner, like you don't know who's covering the back pole, who's waiting for the cut back. It's like they just gather there and hope that somebody, and you ask yourself, are they practicing it? And and then you ask yourself, the coach, what is she focusing on and whatsoever, in terms of the tactical ability of the team. So everybody knowing what to do at a certain arrangement, whether attacking or in defense. So I'm saying this because it hurts me. Like, I love Banyana. I feel like they have so much potential. They can do so much better than they do, regardless of the challenges that they're facing.
But then at what point do you change it? Because I hear what you're saying, and I have the same, we've spoken about this previously, that Malume Kuso calls Tembi Khatlana our Thierry Henry, or somebody who usually pulls us through, or Hilda will pull us through. At what point do you change it? Because when do you say this thing is no longer working, we need to do something else? Or do you need tournaments like this to show you? Is it going to be forced when certain players have to leave? If you get me.
I think for me, it's not very much about changing it. I feel like if the players train it, I feel like they can actually apply it in the field of play. But I feel like they're not training it. Like the defense yesterday, Gamede and Bambanani, they're our best defenders and they can actually do their job. But it seems like they didn't train a specific way they were supposed to play, because like it was almost like they were all over at some point, and I don't think it needs much changing. That's why I'm even reluctant to say Desiree must go, but I feel like her tactics, I don't know, they don't come together the way they should, if I could put it that way.
Mara, why are we half clutching this thing, guys? Are we not doing the same thing? Are we not having the same problem, maybe, that Nati, we don't want to say it with our chest, that, okay, fine, Desiree must go or Desiree must stay. We keep, half clutching, and maybe that's the same thing that has happened there with Banyana, that, what, say half clutch. You want to change, but the only change you're doing is bringing in Mudli, who's been in the squad but not really given a chance. You are now giving Kasani a big load, but you're not willing to give her the full load. You still want to have Abolinda on. Is that maybe not a problem that we're having with even all of our national teams, maybe even Bafana, that we're half clutching when we need to then say it with our chest and change fully?
The thing is, I think there was a resolution that Banyana should not be coached by a man and whatsoever. So if I'm gonna say Desiree must go, then I must say who must come. Then who must come from a woman's perspective? You get what I'm trying to say? Then I find myself stuck with Desiree, and unless maybe they are going to fetch a foreign coach from somewhere else, And honestly, Desiree, in terms of Banyana, she has done well. We have good players. That's why we win even when we're not doing the right things. We have very good individual players. And it's just that yesterday it just didn't go our way. But we should have won that game, honestly. With the bad play that we had, that game we should have still won it. But Overall, I think the girls can still win the next two games. I feel like they still have that ability to do it. As much as we don't have the strength and the height, but I feel like we play better. And there's one thing as South African, whether it's Bafana or Banyana, we have a disease, man. Like we want to. Every time there's chaos, we don't want to capitalize on the chaos. We want to cool it down and take it back and build again. No, we have to capitalize on the destabilization of everything and get a goal from that. If you check Linda, most of the time she's trapping it back. Why are you trapping it back every time? Trap it forward. Let's go forward. But it's always
Okay.
gonna frustrate us as fans.
No, for time. Thank you for Ray for jumping in. I want to
Chop,
ask in
chop.
the comments, guys. Are we again half clutching then? Because I feel like with Banyana a lot of the time, hey, siyasaba ukukhuluma lento esifuna ukuyikhuluma. Siyasaba, even when they want to speak it, we speak it CAF. And I feel like that's maybe one of the problems that we have. That I'm not saying that Tabo Refilio should go, I'm not saying that they should stay. But what I'm saying is, does a choice not have to be made somewhere? That if you're going to stick with the older generation players, play the older generation way. Right? If you want Messi to play in a World Cup, now at his age, you got to make sure that there's people around him that run in a certain way that allow him to do some of those things. Or if you don't want it and you want to go the other way and you're saying that you want new players, then you got to be able to say it with your chest. To say, okay, fine. Yazini, Fifi, Linda, Tembi, Hilda, maybe even Juice, I don't know. Guys, it's been great. Nispanile, we love you. Mara, at this current junction, somebody needs to come in and make the tough decision to say, move on. And again, I ask that because isn't that the problem that we face in football in general? Who's the coach that's going to tell Xavi that you must retire now? Who's the coach that's going to tell Mbappe that you must leave? They had to wait for Mbappe, go PSG, for him to be like, "Ay guys, nyahamba," before you could get this PSG. So are we also, number one, being a bit harsh? But then also, aren't we sitting back also playing the same game of, man, I'm not willing to say the full thing. But in any case, let me go to Coach V. Coach V, welcome. Coach V?
Hey, OT, how are you, my brother? Long time. Welcome back.
I'm back, Coach V. Coach V, where do you sit on this topic?
You know what, OT, I will start with the first thing. I think we need to start having conversation about football at a spiritual level. It cannot be that every time you lose a game, you are starting to think the coach must go, or do you think there's something wrong about it? So, according to my knowledge of football, there are three outcomes in a game: lose, draw, or win. So it cannot be that every time you lose, then it cannot be that you cannot accept that you're gonna lose at some point. You cannot tell me that you don't want to accept that at some point you're gonna have a bad game.
Yeah.
Or a bad tournament.
But then coach, to be fair,
so what I'm saying here
to be fair, can't you also analyze the game and say there's some issues that we've had for a while now, and maybe the issues are being forced out now, and it's not to say that they can't be fixed in the next game, but can't you say that I'm watching this game, yes, it's a win, but we are not questioning the win, we're analyzing the win to say, ay, marale win, losing in 90th minute while Chaisa Langena, or maybe it's a loss, but it's not, it was a freak accident that happened that lost you the game. Are those things the same? Shouldn't we have these conversations still? Maybe not to say Melahambe, but if it's time to be critical, you must be critical.
And then when you look at football and you've been in football for more than 5 years or 10 years, you will know that some games you have to win them, but you can't. It's not all the games that you're gonna win them without maybe getting a freaky win. Yeah, we've seen a lot of freaky wins happening in football. So why all of a sudden when it happens to you, you feel like it shouldn't happen to you?
Because my name, coach.
No. You cannot be immune to the football's package. If you want a football, take it with this all package. Sometimes you're gonna have a bad tournament. Sometimes you're gonna scramble and get that win by mistake. Sometimes you'll score a good game and have a good game and win with a good build-up. It's football. Or else, if it was not like that, then I don't think people should be should be talking about football and understanding football. But what I don't like is you cannot overreact every time you see a freaky win, a bad game that you lost. I mean, you're gonna lose a lot of bad games.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's part of the whole thing here. So what am I trying to say to you is, once you start to understand football at that, nothing new under the sun in football. We are just picking things that have always been there in football, and we are trying to maybe overreact around them, which is normal. There's nothing wrong with overreacting. I mean, it's people have emotions to overreact about it. But me, standing here and being in football for so long, OT, I know that sometimes you'll have a bad tournament. Not because you are a bad team. Maybe this tournament, you just don't have the energy to carry it. Sometimes you're going to have people criticizing you. It's part of the game. Sometimes there are a few things that will not go on your way. But one thing that we can all agree on here is the technical team and the Banyana coaches and the Banyana players and maybe some of South Africans. We wanted to win. The same way with Tanzania, I'm sure they wanted the win. So no one goes and say, I'm going to prepare and go and lose. No player says, I'm going to go there and you'll receive Banyana. You might be having a bad game on that day. It's normal. Players do have a bad game at some point. And even if you say, no, but let's fire at Desiree Ellis and bring someone new. I don't think Desiree Ellis, her understanding football, will say, okay, I mean, coaches have been fired. I mean, if you are a coach, you'll understand at some point you're going to be released for someone else. So once you start understanding football at that level, then what really matters is, I'm proud that I did my best. I'm proud that
the result, coach. Coach, with the tournament, the result matters.
Everything matters in football, even if it's not the results, OT. Everything matters in football. The salaries of players matters. The food that the players eat in matters. The fans that are at the stadium matters. So you cannot only say results, because then when it means you are reducing football to only results.
Isn't it down to results?
That is how it cannot be down to results, because a team can have a bad game and still win the game. A team can have a good game and still lose the game. So then what are you going to say if they played good but they lost the game? Like Banyana, it's not like they had a bad game yesterday. They were in control of the whole match. They created a lot of chances compared to the opposition. You understand what I'm trying? Now, once we start discussing football at that level, then it becomes a broad, big thing that now we are talking about. You'll understand that, yes, sometimes you're going to lose. It's part of the game. I mean, you wanted Tanzania to lose. Now, what they deserve it, dang it. They are playing in the game. It's two opponents. If you wanted Banyana to always win, remove the Tanzanian out of the game. Maybe they will win. Understand. So, Mina, I think I'm starting to understand football at that level.
But
when you said to me,
Coach, are we not allowed to question, Coach? Are we not allowed to say, guys, what does the future look like? Are there maybe gaps that should be filled? And maybe it's not necessarily about this game, but you're saying, listen, guys, we do need to do autopsies. We do need to think about, okay, fine. If Guamanje were struggling to find a replacement for Tembi, shouldn't we be actively looking for a replacement or actively grooming a replacement? Like, are those questions that we we can have, and maybe the result makes the question come a little bit faster. Mara, maybe the topic shouldn't we have been having these conversations about Banyana for a very long time instead of waiting for something to quote unquote go wrong?
That is why I said you have Yangiti, your questions are part of the game. So you are allowed to answer those questions because that's you being part of the game. But you cannot say your questions are something unique in football. People have been asking those questions before. We always had teams where at some point they were down. They had to ask questions in order for them to fix that. So you cannot bring anything new into the football game. Football game has always been like that. I'm not getting surprised when you are asking those questions because people have been asking those questions in different sports, in
But
different
we need the
games.
answers. We need the answers.
Maybe you don't need the answers, Oti. Maybe you know the answers. Maybe you just need to overreact around it because the answer is simple. The answer is always there in front of you. Said, oh, don't you think we need Tempi Khatana maybe to bring your players? I will say to you, are right. Bring them. You understand? There's nothing in football. There's nothing. I'm sure Coach 1010 will tell you. In football, we don't have a problem with someone coming with a new suggestion and say, no, but I feel like we can do. No, let's do it. It's fine. If you feel like it's going to work, and it might not work, right? You do agree that it might be. You can come up with a suggestion and it can be the worst suggestion ever.
For sure, but now I have to say that, look, man, I did something other than waiting for it to break, maybe, and then only. I mean, that's why I'm trying not to make it a Banyana conversation. Like, I've been using examples of both Spain, Liverpool PSG, Liverpool Barcelona. I've been using, that it's a natural thing to have these conversations, maybe without the energy of, coming from a loss and the feelings around it. But maybe when we're sober, we have to sit down and say, you know what, guys, let's sit down and plot the future so the future doesn't chase us. We can take advantage of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with what you are saying. I'm sure you are not suggesting that Desiree Ellis and his team are not doing that. I'm sure they are doing. After every game, we sit down and say, no. I'm okay. Hypothetically speaking, I'm sure they are supposed to do that because after every game, you always sit down, analyze the game, what went wrong, what we can improve. If it means we've lost the tournament or whatever, we sit down and analyze. It's a normal process of what happens in the game of football. What I don't want to say is I don't want someone coming here and thinking that this opinion is a fact about the game.
Okay, no.
If it remains your opinion, then it's fine. We don't have a problem. We can shake hands.
For time, I'm gonna jump in, guys. Okay, so then we'll speak about Safa tomorrow, because I'm actually happy that we're having this conversation in full now. KG Sparkles.
Hey, bro, Jay.
Oh, Jay, yeah, man. Hi, Mara, have I been gone for this long, guys? Hi, man.
You see, you're gone for so long, we even forget their names now.
Kaji, guy, man.
I'm just mad.
Yeah.
I'm just mad. I'm just mad and I'm pissed off, man. I hope I get Rokhani, but I'm just, and maybe it's because of the love of football. Okay, first thing first, before cooking whatever's going on the topic, I just want to say, guys, why are we not supporting the ladies that much, right? And they do more than these boys that we go crazy for. Like, that's one thing, but it's a story for another day. I was watching the game, Anyway, coming back to the topic of the live, okay. I was watching this game, like the small one. They mainly watch your hockeys. They play hockeys at school and stuff. It's in these English schools. It's not focused.
Nati bestali hockey. Yadala, okay, go ahead.
Martina bestali bola. It's football.
And then skill and hockey.
Sharp, at least you know, yeah, and she just knows your hockey, and what, So I was watching the game with her, And she started getting, I don't want to say annoyed, but just downgrading. Who's this girl? Downgrading the girl. The one with the, male moderating the bro.
Tasan.
The one who, yes, because of the opportunities that she kept on missing, So what I say football is 3 things: win, draw, win, right?
Okay.
And every player goes to the pitch, it's win, draw, or lose.
Lose, yeah.
And every player goes to the pitch thinking of one thing, right? Win. It depends on what kind of teams. We played football some type of way. We know some teams, we are not getting a win here. So, guys, let's stick to that draw, So it mainly just depends on how you guys go to the game. But mainly, every player wants to win. And every Banyana girl that went to that pitch yesterday wanted to win. Cool. That team never lost. Never won against us. That's their first time yesterday, I think. If I'm correct with my stats. That's the first time they won yesterday, right? There was simple minor mistakes. There you can see like, okay, this didn't go well. But certain things, and take what I understand is what? If we all go for perfection, right? And you just cut a slight thing on that perfection, everything goes wrong. Like, we all chasing perfection, right? Yeah, I think the girls were chasing perfection yesterday. And minor mistakes happened, and they destroyed the whole entire thing. So now, what I hate is, now that we are all going, Des must go. Des must go, that's true. I'm one of the people that say Des must go. Ne?
Des must go.
She still has like 3 or 2 years in me that we still need to give her. And now the fact that we are saying Des must go now, when she's there with the girls and now Setterins and comments, she must go. Hey, how long has she been here? I don't like that. That's very negative and I don't like that. But what I'm saying is, guys, we are so wanting perfection that even if it doesn't go well, we just don't want to go back and just fix and try again. We always, when something happens or something doesn't go right, we criticize, we backlash, and we don't realize also it kind of downgrades on the players. These ladies, I don't want to lie, this is one team that as a nation, I even realized even yesterday, when last did I watch Banyana? I blamed even myself, like, hey, when last did I watch these girls? Because why? I didn't have any Premier League, I didn't have any Betway, I didn't have any league that I could watch. They were only priority of football that I could watch, which I blamed myself also, looking at my little nephew yesterday, like bashing them, and I started to realize, no, man, they're actually good, man. I don't know what's going on today, but I know they're gonna fix this, I also didn't want to lose yesterday. I was so mad at it yesterday, But we go back, we fix, we come back. I'm telling you, we are going out of the group stages. We can even take this.
When I get this I must go, Des must go, but suspended sentence at 2 years. Get.
Come on, but okay, when we take out Des, who are we putting in? Okay, let me ask you. Okay, I'm giving you this question. Okay. Take out Des, who are you putting in?
Should that stop? Okay, before I give my answer, should that stop you?
No.
Did you know Hugo Bruce before Hugo Bruce started his job, bafana?
No, and look how good he is, and you still hate bashing.
No, I'm not
saying she must not go.
Yeah. No, I can give you.
I'm not saying she must not go. It's been too long. You can see in our style of play, other nations are starting to catch up now to our style of play even, Let's put another fresh thing. But what I'm thinking is, as us, and we have this thing of being afraid of telling like your coaches, she must go, yes. But who's going to say that? You said something like that earlier on in the live. Who's going to say that? This is our country. And we are going to end up going to politics. And I don't want to go to politics when it comes to that, She must go, you all know. But who's going to say that? Because if you realize right now, we are all dragging this, who's going to say this?
That's
who's going to say this?
That's why why have clash? Why about to have clash?
As a nation, we are always good on up clashing.
No, there's names like there's names. You know, obviously the easiest successor would be Coach Tina Sonke, who is the current assistant coach.
Number one Tina, that's the only one I could think of.
You still have Coach Dunga, you still have Coach Shoti. You have a coach that I believe is coaching in Morocco right now, who's got 2 Champions Leagues, and is widely credited as the reason why Sundowns is doing exactly what Sundowns is doing. Hollywood Bets, Coach Jerry's there. There's plenty of people that can guys. There's plenty of people that can go eat, guys. I would see abeko, guys. Mara ni half clutch.
No, but this is us as a nation. Well, and look at it too, even in the bad way. Look at what's going on right now with Hugo. Someone Hugo to stay, someone Hugo to leave, you know, and we are just backlashing then. Just but he took us to the World Cup. But he, you know. So that's what I'm saying. For now, let's not just go through these things now. We made a mistake, which was very bad. I mad myself over the play yesterday. That was an easy win. We all know, you know. Well, let's come back next game, fix that. Then after this, let's stop backlashing, pressing. If we are pressing, us pressing. Because we need that. It's been a while. Come on, people.
Okay, no, for time.
But what I'm saying is, let's learn to just make mistakes and just recover from those mistakes, especially when there's like tournaments like this, you know. Let's not just be negative on the girls, you know. They made a mistake yesterday, and I have hope and belief they're going to fix that. We're taking this. Trust me.
Okay, no. KG, don't get me wrong, please.
Don't get me wrong, please.
Now, before I go to Gustavo, I've got a question for the comments. And I think ito hatari cons. I don't usually ask a question like this, but I'm gonna ask it now for the comments. Are we, when we're speaking about women's football, are we being too protective of it at times on the one extreme, or are we being too lenient or too harsh on them on the other side? Because the rule I have here about speaking football when we speak about women's football is that there should be critical analysis that happens, whether it's right or wrong. When we're happy, we shouldn't just say Banyana, we're happy because Banyana's happy. When they lose, we shouldn't just say Banyana's trash because Banyana's trash. Part of what I'm trying to do here is for us to also have a full conversation. Why must Coach Des leave? Why must she stay? Can we have a real conversation and say, like I was saying, and the reason why I keep using the examples I'm using, that sometimes it's not you saying something bad, but maybe it's a real conversation. Like I can sit here and I can put Mbappe on the screen and we can have a conversation about, do you prioritize Mbappe or Real Madrid? Do you want him to be more of a team player? Because when he came from PSG, he was the star man and he was scoring goals. But the moment he left, PSG starts winning. Is it something that it's not seen as being harsh or being critical or being this or being that? So that's why I'm saying that even with our women's teams, a term I don't like to use, but with our women's teams, we should be able to have the same conversations. Now, what I don't agree with and why I want us to stick to football here is, guys, I don't want to hear, oh no, Uzbanbani, Merits Banbani, the lesbians are doing this, or no, this is what. Let's talk the football. That's what I want to do, and that's what I've been trying to do, at least when we've been covering women's football. And you know, Tina on the watch-alongs and even doing reviews and doing all that stuff. Let's have real football talk. Gustavo.
Oti.
Must she stay or go?
Yeah, you missed out on Coach Matenten. Yeah, Coach Tendang. You missed out. You missed out.
I think Gustavo, straight. Are we half clutching this thing? Especially with women's football, are we half clutching the conversations?
Yeah, I think we are.
For fear of.
I think we are. The coach is not doing too bad. Performances have been balanced, if I can put it like that. It's just when we get to these major tournaments or we play better oppositions and you feel like, is she getting exposed? Or are the players done for? You know, because at most we've been playing with the same squad. We've been playing with Abu Dlamini forever. We've been playing with Abu Salgado for how long now? You know, and it makes things difficult. There is no change in personnel. There's no change in the coaching staff. It's a bit worrying. Yes, we are trying to improve the squad, refresh the squad, integrate the younger ladies into the team. But when things go bad, it's down to default. We spoke about this now before the game that it seems like the coach at times goes for the safe picks. Does not maybe go for the right personnel in terms of the players that can actually add value into the team. The younger players that can add value into the team, add more excitement, add more speed, bring better competition, bring hunger into the game. It seems like we're not doing exactly that with the Banyana. To answer your question, yeah, it's a half touch, man. So it's a tough thing to say because we can't say one. It's Coach Desiree, man. Yeah, it's difficult for us to say, I know she must go. Why must she go? Where must she go? Now I said, if you want to let her go, then she must get a position of some sort. Don't
start with the politics. But it's Caruso must go. I didn't know about Caruso, Gustavo.
Man, it's Coach Desiree, man. But yeah, if we say but no, it would actually be good for her to be part of on a different role. Add the experience, especially if you're gonna pick from the local coaches. If you're gonna pick maybe from the upcoming coaches who can still contribute. We want someone has been in and around the ladies and is able to identify to say, okay, we have actually these players. We have these players. Advise some of the some of the coaches. But if it's time for change, it looks like after this tournament, it's time for change. And also the next coach that's gonna come in.
No, I just wanted to ask you, do you think that, and this is now a broader conversation than about women's football in the country, do you think that also we found success and you try and hold on to success? You try and hold it good, as shaky. Kwafika bocoach Lulu bandlula. Nabo coach Modi bakona bandlula. Abo coach Tina nabo bakona maybe bandlula because we're going, saboguti, this thing that's working. Abo refilo bakona, abo linda bakona. We're so afraid of moving on that we're trying so hard to hold on.
I think we're hanging on the golden generation. If I can put it like that for too long, and we are trying to get whatever we can from them without not wanting to transition properly. I don't think any of us can point out and pinpoint that here's the replacement Katembi, here my replacement Abu Salgado, Umutlalo is our best player, but is she really at times, because at times she underperforms. And she does that consistently, but we are able to point out and pinpoint some of these things and say, actually, some of the so-called big players or the stars are costing us. Is their replacement? Is Swart the right replacement for Dlamini? Because Swart na inama blender arcade. Do we have the right channels for some of these players? Because it's a huge responsibility. It's not easy coaching our national team, especially the ladies one. It's not easy. The pool of players that you can pick from and the players who play at a very high competitive level and the players who are used to maybe your travelings, your African football, your Champions League, is the pool that big for the coach to pick from. It's some of the disadvantages that come with such a thing. But for me, I think someone like Coach Jerry can do something, can assist us a lot. In terms of moving forward, going forward, and competing, especially in the continental stage. not even looking at the World Cup. But as far as continental stage is going, I think it's someone who can contribute a lot, can help out. He has been, or still is actually, in around the female football space. I think someone who has an eye for talent and he knows how he wants to do. Coach Simpiwe, I'm unfamiliar with the Coach Simpiwe that much. I'll be lying in terms of her way of play and how she contributes and how she wants to play, basically. But from Coach Jerry's perspective, I think it's someone who plays clean football, beautiful football with the ladies. He has been doing it for years now. But yeah, Coach Jerry, what Batarda. But yeah, it's a tough conversation to have, man, around our current national team coach.
Guys, it shouldn't be tough, guys.
It's tough.
It should be factual. It should be wherever you stand. It should be factual. I like the comment that said it's not anti-Des, it's Coach Des.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's tough. Like even for you, it's tough to just come out and say, "Yeah, gahambe." It's not an easy say, or it's not an easy say.
Mina, you want my answer, me?
Yeah.
Oh, she mustn't go. Where's she going?
Yeah, you see?
Where's she going?
That's another thing.
Mara, gmele yege. I feel like, okay, if I can be honest, in the time that we have now, but anyway, I feel like one of the big problems with women's football is that it's flat. It's the biggest advantage, but it's also the biggest problem. Because Coach Tina coaches Banyana, she coaches UWC. When they go to the Champions League, she coaches Hollywood Bets, she coaches varsity football, right? So I feel like the intermingling sometimes takes away the objectivity of things, right? And I think the big problem here is SAFA, because what Coach Des gives you is the barest of minimums to go and win things. You know those coaches that you bring in and you go, Yazid, I'm not going to give you anything. You know, they were even at some point not even giving her a proper contract, but I'm not going to give you anything. And you are going to use that. She's at every game. Mina, Coach Des, I know her from varsity football. When you go to varsity football,
you cannot bump into her.
I was having a conversation about some of the players that were there. So now I'm sitting there and I'm going, maybe that's some of the issue that, you know, sometimes when you're too close to something, right? For example, I'll use a male example. Simtandile rulani ngisho. Simtandile.
Yeah.
But maybe he was too close to the thing, right? At a point to then make some of the decisions that you need to make in order for you to take the next step, right? So for me, there's that issue, and then there's SAFA, because SAFA is literally barest minimum. That's what they're doing here. Like, Coach Des is going to continue. If we need to get rid of Coach Des, then we need to figure out Gutis Fagabanis, Begabanis, Movabanis, Enzani. And that's work that it doesn't seem like they'd want to do, right? I don't think Banyana has that much of an issue. I just think the problem is you need to make a choice. And what's happening now is that it's a midpoint. Bruce almost went through the same thing. It's a midpoint. You have Ipola Labo Tembi, you know, Hamba Tembi, as Madume Kutso calls it, Hamba Tembi, and then the three of you who are world-class players, up top you make something happen. Tembi is usually the leader of that. So there's that football. Then Kona Laba that are coming up, you know, the generation of Sundowns, like let backline Sundowns, there was a point where man begum nandi bebal noka, because that's what they were doing, right? And if you watch the Sundowns, Kimang number 10, Rabale, and those players.
Yeah, Coach Jerry. Sundowns are Coach Jerry.
Bayal noka, gyadlaliwa lapha. And Nabotkasan, it seems like they want to go play that football. You can't have both of those things on the same pitch. I think that was the problem for me as well. You can't have both of those things, because Tembi's gonna get frustrated. Ipol alfigi. Abanye, if we play long ball, Nabotkasan won't get touches on the ball. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the same scenario that we had with the men's AFCON at some point. In the previous AFCON. But I think, I think you're very, very accurate there. Coach Des, it's such a safe pick, especially for our federation. bringing another coach, especially if you're going to bring in a foreign coach, comes at a high cost. One, are you willing to throw in that type of money? Because you can see there isn't even from our federation, there isn't much investment to the ladies. Or to the ladies football, if I can put it like that. Now we are color, now it's accreditation.
Accreditation, Gustavo,
But
but I'm home.
as you 31 million go World Cup, and there's nothing. Who do you know when that went to?
Sizokhuluma ngayo, don't worry, sizokhuluma ngayo one of the days.
Yeah, it is what it is. But akashale man coach for as long as she likes.
Hey, now guys, I know, okay, agent, I don't know if you're starting at 6, but I can't go over. But I'm gonna come to you guys. I'll give you membership allowances. Let me just bring Pitch Talk in with Mklengi, then I'll come to you guys. Pitch Talk with Mklengi, I've seen you in the comments. Where do you sit on this topic? Welcome.
Thanks, Chicho. Good evening, everyone. Gustavo, agent, and Abud Kuto. Yeah, it's a very nice subject to touch, and I'm glad that someone at least can open up a panel with such information, with such talks around Banyana, because abanye bethu bebheka ama-awards last night instead of watching Banyana. But we have a nerve of coming here and say this isn't that, what is bad, and simply because Banyana is here. But if we need another corner, we need today. So bad news travel faster than good news. As for this, I think again we may be suffering from what we were suffering under Hugo at Bafana. A breadwinner does whatever that he wants, and then we have to keep quiet because he's breadwinner. Once ungakhuluma against breadwinner, and then but if you look back at Banyana, there was Joseph Mkonza, the late, was with Banyana.
My former coach, by the way.
Did not do anything, but he was promising.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that's nice.
That's
And there was David
guys. Let's team
Makalakalan.
with the Banyana players. Where would they team? But anyway.
Nice. And then there was Makalakalan. There was Uvera Pao. And then Des came in and won us something. But now you said something about holding to something that we're hoping it can still work. Without checking others if they can still assist, if they can even do better. A succession plan in such organizations is very important. Konamanje, we don't know who's the next Hugo process successor, but we're not there. We're at Banyana.
Yep.
Today we are facing what could be a possibility. What is a possibility of facing again with Banyana? Ubano zothatha over for Desiree, because it doesn't look like from that match. Yes, it's too early to judge, but it doesn't look like he's going to go further in this tournament. And we are hoping that we want her to do better than what he did the previous tournament. So what I'm trying to say is, it is very important for our organization, or for our FA, to have proper succession plan on who's going to take over when someone does not do well. Because we at some point we'll need a change. I'm a player Vera Pau, very few are corner la manje. Somehow akakwazi uDesiree washiya because I'm not there before. But someone new like Ucheri will come in and get players who he thinks will work. Possibly they will work, but do we have patience? Or are we patient enough for black, and let me just say for black coaches in South Africa? Do we have such patience? Because we were patient with this. We were patient due to Vera Pau. We are not patient due to Mkonza. We are not patient due to Makalakalan. Are we going to be patient due to Jerry if it happens? Okay, let me just say when it happens that it takes over. Because for me now, I can't think of anyone else. Yes, about Dunga, they are there, as you have said. They've shown. I've worked at that space, Banyana. I don't know going to now comparing to Bafana, because other people are turned off by the way Amantomazane plays. But we need to be patient. They will get there where we'll think, okay, they're more like Brazilians, Americans, English ladies. They will get there. But I'm here where now we need to have patience, even for Nabantu Abotaki. Desiree did not do well first time, but eventually she got it right. Vera Pau, she left, but we are very patient guy. Before abanye abantu abamnyama we were not patient. That's another thing when now we're gonna think our Desiree was better. If some things don't go good for whoever that's gonna take over, let's just say umnyama. So that's where I'm trying.
Is that a women's football thing, or is it just in general? Because you could say the same about bafana nakhona. And do we sometimes say that it's a women's thing to try and, I don't want to say degrade, but to try and, lower the football, but actually it's a big problem, and maybe it's SAFA as a whole.
Yeah. It's everywhere. Ladies, it's the same thing. Steve Gombela once said, what lacks in South Africa is an understanding of a process. We as supporters, we don't have time to understand. It's funa plug and play. And sometimes that does not work. It has not worked until Desiree. Now, because there was a lot of foundations behind her, or maybe before her time, that helped her to be successful who have caught. Now she's there. We are now doubting because she lost against Tanzania. Those who are following ladies football, they'll tell you Tanzania have been trying. Yes, the game was not great for Banyana, but that doesn't mean Tanzania was that bad, or they were what they were 4 years ago, 2 years ago. They've actually improved. I have a lot of friends in Tanzania who are doing a lot of South African and Tanzanian football. They keep telling me, Yabona, an example of what Tanzania did, Zambia is doing it. They had camps immediately after my Easter.
Yeah.
They've been doing these camps with their squad, doing camps and camps and camps to get the ladies together. I don't know if we have that leverage with Bafana, with Amachita, but I think we do have that. We are able to try and get them together whenever we can. They've traveled to Brazil, Zambia. They went to Paris. They went Algeria, just before they moved to Morocco. They went there 3 weeks before they go to Morocco. You see the seriousness that they have in their FAs around the ladies' football. Are we going to say the same? Now, you said shouldn't talk politics, but now I think I'm going to politics. Let me stop.
No, you can touch on it. Well, technically, we did go to Japan.
Yeah.
Technically, if we are gonna...
Guy, now I've calculated, Zambia, I've calculated 3 countries. With us, it's only 1.
Okay.
As for your preparation, I think we need to... Okay, let me go back to Desiree. When Desiree... we need to get someone who's going to be proper for the position and be patient and support that person for him to take over, because there's a lot of young ladies who are coming and showing. There is that girl from Durban, Nobahle Mdelwa. She's such a talent. But I see she's not in the Bafana, because again, we're holding on to what worked before, not what is working now.
Okay.
No, so players like that, I expect them to be in this WAFCON, because they are such good players.
For time's sake, I'm gonna jump in. For time's sake,
thank you,
Agent. We had 100 people watching. Banyana, follow up,
Give her with the kuzo. I'll come after with the kuzo.
Malume kuzo. We had more than 100 people. Saupola. Hey, people.
I was on a live. I'm sorry to do this. I was on a live and I said, even PSL football, we spoke about it when it was not fashionable. I think you are a pioneer, OT. We spoke about it when no one cared for it. There's 1,000 panels. I was telling Amachi, they were asking, how did you do it, actually? And I said, we were talking about Bafana. We even analyzed the appointment guy, Hugo Bros.
Yep.
That's how far back we've been running with this thing. At some point, people are saying Grant Kekana is an OG. We used to analyze before Grant Kekana got a call up from Hugo Bros. He's gone in and out. Sila, look at the country. Look at the country. It's so beautiful, OT. Banyana now. Bamba 100 and something on TikTok. And Figabo Abu Msheng. There was a guy that when I entered Begala part, I just forgot his name. People with depth, and I'm like, hey, women's football is growing. I actually sat in the comment section for a long time, just marveling at how people speak of women's football beautifully and it's informative. It's beautiful to hear, OT.
Remember, I had to put rules in. Remember, it's Sakala. Fatala, when I had to put rules in, guys, yekelani, all of these things that you want to jump in and tell me it's slow. Remember how many people you had to block? People don't know.
I was thinking about a guy who used to just insult us. But anyway, if Babega do evolution, they got Darwin at the bottom there when it starts, has to be overthinking there, which this is the beginning of it, the genesis of it. But anyway, Oti, for me, I did ask the agent to go in before him because I think he has more depth. It would be a sour ending if I'm the one who's speaking on this football. Oti, Coach Des has to go. Coach Des has to go. I think Banyana cannot be analyzed as Bafana. Banyana has to be analyzed as a Germany. Banyana has to be analyzed as a Nigeria, as a Brazil, from the men's football's perspective. This is a big team. This is not a Mickey Mouse team. These are big hitters. If you see a country, maybe let's say, I don't know which country, in the top 10, if they beat Bafana, it's just high fives and they're out of the field. But when they beat Banyana, they cry. They point to the
Remember
sky.
Sweden? They were third in the world in that World Cup where they beat us last.
You understand? So I'm saying in Africa, when teams beat, that's how rare it is. If they beat Banyana, just as testament to how big Banyana is, they will cry on the field. They will hug each other as if they've won a cup. So when we assess Banyana, I feel we cannot be as lenient as we are when we're assessing a Bafana. This is a big team, and they deserve to be treated as such. You will never see Real Madrid losing a cup and Tiwe, Esana, coach. No. We have to be harsh on Banyana. To whom much is given, much is expected. I know someone's going to be like, what were they given? That would be a good question, actually. But Labas Bege Corner, OT, Banyana is a big team. No Mickey Mouse. You understand? So, for me, having watched it build up to yesterday's game, my issue is not even the result. It's how the result came about. You know, sometimes you are here, OT, Ikshai team, it's that goalkeeper was on steroids. We are against Virginia as the Spain. You understand? We'll still win the World Cup, but Virginia was on something else. But yesterday, OT, it wasn't even with the opposing team was super. It was like, guys, it's a lackluster performance. And there's a serious issue, Mr. Oti, and I believe we can get in a different coach. Not because Coach Des is bad, not because I'm ungrateful, but because the time has come, Mr. Oti. She can't coach Lolo forever and ever. And I'm not saying fire her for the sake of firing her. I think she's roded and the wheels have fallen off. It's time, Mr. Oti. And it's sad that even just Napans, I think even male football is starting to follow the same trajectory where our immediate junior teams, like your under 23s, your under 20, they're selecting the Bomber Engine, they're selecting the Bomber DDC. I don't get it. Those teams should be selected from a professional pool.
Yeah.
I see Coach Desmond Revalapago Engine. I'm like, how is this okay? That someone who's going to represent the country at that level could come from this tournament. So
and she knows them all. Like if you speak to Coach Des, she knows all of those players. Like she'll tell you exactly why a certain player, she doesn't pick them. And I'm like, oh, hey, Coach Des, you're doing too much. There's too many people here.
You understand, Oti? And just like you, I've seen a Konala while I'm fourth official, and she's standing here, while I'm also in the field because I've revved a couple of those competitive female games. And I'm like, yeah, Coach Des is there. Yeah. She shouted at me before, which I was speaking during the national anthem. So I've seen her. So I know which Coach Des, we're London, but I feel like it's unfair with the coach national team. Development tournaments, is that what Safa expects of her? It's unfair, or is that the pool that she has? You understand? So in as much as I'm saying Coach Des has rode it till the wheels fell off, I'm also saying Safa and the entire country, how is it that we haven't progressed from the glory that Banyana has brought to the country? How is it that we have not been able to source sponsorship for this team that are African champions or were African champions. Kuze kanjani? Is it maybe that you're incompetent?
Yeah.
You can't wing it you can't. I'm not decency to say, guys, let's just bring in one individual. Also, how do we make money from this? The US is making money from it, from its success. Why not just bring in someone with
Europe is
the
killing it right now to a degree.
They are?
Europe is killing it right now to a degree with their football.
You understand? Just bring in someone. I mean, even the PSL, Mr. Oti, in as much as Dr. Khoza. No, sorry. In as much as Dr. Khoza. What solidified the ground that PSL stood on was the appointment of that English guy.
Yeah.
The one who brought in Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name, but yes.
He came through. He was like, okay, we can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They were humble enough to say, in as much as we brought the PSL this far, there's someone else who can take it a bit further. So now I understand this foot. Why Mr. Oti? How did we move from winning AFCON to this? Trevor Phillips, exactly.
Trevor Phillips, yeah.
Like I said, there's not much gain for me. It's just from FNL Kwati. Thank you so much, Mr. Oti.
Peto, they're not even doing it to say, look, we've done it. I think that's the... tomorrow, because today I wanted to speak about it, but luckily the conversation went on. But tomorrow I want to speak about the PSL and about SAFA and what's going on between Sandile Zungu, who's now stepped up, versus Danny Jordaan. We're gonna speak a little bit deeply on it, and you'll note some of the tips and tricks and things that both sides are using to try and win this election, and you'll see that it's not necessarily stuff that you've done to say, look, I've done it, and go forward from it. Is just to, hey, that thing worked out. Okay. But anyway, it's 4 p.m. Lebza. Agent.
Excuse my French.
Sorry?
It's Mbogazi type of development. Wow. From Tolide, from Chuchu. Can you make another one?
But guys, the show is on at 4. Drive time. Overthinking football show, which is going to end now with Agent.
Oti, these people must know, man, that we deserve, even if there's 2 minutes left, and we must cook for William. We must get in. We deserve it.
He's standing in front of me saying, hey, what did you, by the way?
Yes. So it should not be, we must be favored because we're here when it was not fashionable to do so. Where do we start, Mr. Oti? For me, let me start by Tanzania because I think much has been said. I don't know, Mr. Mkhengi there mentioned something about Tanzania, that they have been growing in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
You know? I think yesterday I mentioned that these 4 players that are playing in Mexico, in the Mexican League. There's one in the Mexican League. And if you know anything about women's football, you know Mexican League is one of the strongest.
Wow, Tembi, Jermaine.
You know, there's some, I think, Climate, the captain, is playing for in Spain. I think Aiba. I think I forgot whether the 2 are playing, but all of the 4 of them are in Europe, and others are from JKT Queens and Simba Queens, which are also been doing well, you know. And I think I was more impressed by the keeper, who, like I said, has been winning goalkeeper of the tournament, Sakafa, Anders. He has been growing in leaps and bounds, you know, and it's impressive to see how they're spreading their wings in Tanzania. Even on the men's side, you know, you can see that they're spreading their wings much bigger. So
Agent, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not barking up a wrong tree.
Oh, way.
Some might say David versus Goliath. Okay, I'll stop.
But exactly the point that there is an intentionality about them growing the game. there is an intentionality about growing the game in Morocco. There's intentionality in Tunisia. Is it Tunisia? No, it's not Tunisia.
Algeria, man.
I'm trying to recall the name because we know in CAF Champions League, we know there is going under Jerry. There was Sundowns.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting. You see that
I
team.
hear you.
That's the
I
team that
hear
I'm.
you. Yeah.
There is an intentionality about it. But is it Tafnut?
Oh, my fave.
Yes.
Oh, my fave.
So there is an intentionality. About
That's
that,
as far, but it's as far. It's Morocco still.
As far, yes. Is there such an intentionality to grow where we are to the next level? You know, I'm questioning it a lot. You know, and you and I both know intimately that a team like Sundowns, we've talked about women's football. You know, we've talked a lot. You and I know intimately that, but it is what it is. You know, and again, it's a question of we are taking all the stars into one team, which is fine. It's okay. I applaud you for trying to make the women's game grow. And you know, actually, when I was getting in, there was a lady in Atanaka. Is it a convertible? Eh? Yeah. Money is nice there because Sundowns almost. But that's it's nice, you know. But you look on the flip side that most of the time you're winning. That breeds complacency for me, you know. And you have all the stars. So what if now you are challenged? What happens? You know, and you're not being challenged by mere teams. You know, I heard some people dismissing Tanzania. It's not a mere team, you know. It's a team that will always give you problems, that has always given us problems. I think this is their first win in WolfCon. Their first ever point, guess who it was against?
Against us.
Exactly.
Against us, 1-1.
So there's some sort of a hoodoo team for us. So my question is there intentionality to grow the women's league? Sundowns might be a professional team or semi-professional or almost professional, but is the league professional?
But isn't it a case of, agent, also that they're looking at it as a bit cynical, but they're looking at it as, look at what we've achieved without having to put money towards this thing, really, or having to be what's the word you're using? Intentional. Having to be intentional with this thing. Why should we put in money?
And I think it goes against to something that you and I have talked about of PT.
Yes.
We want a lot of PT. You know, oh guys, look at Banyana. Look at them. They 12 million spent. And what about us? You can't have that. You know. Hence, I think I was fighting with someone that, on my life, because we did build up to the game, and I was saying there has to be some products which are explicitly benefiting from ladies, that they should be at the forefront, you know. Even if it's just for this tournament, we saw Black Label sponsoring Sundowns just for CAF for Club World Cup.
Stay Free jumped on, didn't they?
Exactly, you know. So there should have been people who are saying, we know that stadiums are not going to be that full, right? Or they're not going to be full most of the time. Only 20 fans can make a lot of noise. How about 20 fans? And that was going to be as expensive as going to that World Cup. So even from an organizational point of view, with sponsors, with everything, they still want PT, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe again, we're going to the football side. I don't give PT to how they play, because I always say it's a laughable excuse to say the football is slow. I didn't see a slow football yesterday. I didn't see misplaced touches or, you know, there was a time when we were watching women's football, always they're going to bump on each other head on.
No, but agent, even if you say those things are there, what do we complain about go PSL? Anyway,
It also happened. I was going there that, sometimes someone can come in and show me a clip of a Kaizer Chiefs Queen's goal where a keeper clumsily lets the ball in when he was holding it. Like, oh, you're saying we should watch this. First things first, where's Kaizer Chiefs playing? Second things, how have you seen this in PSL? Even in PSL, someone can dribble with his hands.
Even in EPL, there's a famous goalkeeper called Carreras. Don't you remember Carreras? What was he known for?
For Liverpool.
How?
For Liverpool.
Heaven.
But I think that's the thing that, and I think yesterday I was having a conversation that sometimes you are bringing United States conversation here. I know there's an essay, but they have a U before the essay. They're not demanding equal pay like those sides. Those sides, there's a reason why they're demanding it. This side, it's a different conversation. So you can't be telling me, are you saying they should be paid at the same time as women? No, I'm not saying that. That's a conversation for the USA. And there's a reason why they're doing it. But with us, we're only asking for decency at the very best level. But also, SAFA and whoever in the women's football, they shouldn't expect pity also. So I think that's my biggest problem. But otherwise, leaving the politics aside, I do believe we will qualify for World Cup. I do believe we'll finish in the top 2. I don't know if this is head-to-head, because if it is head-to-head, we must beat Ivory Coast. We must. And then quarterfinals. And again, Mr. OT, and I stand to be corrected, last AFCON, was there quarterfinals or was it 3 to semifinals?
I think it was quarterfinals. Because we lost in the semis, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Did we lose in the semis? I think so.
Yeah, no, that's why I thought it was straight from the group stages to the semis. But anyways, neither here nor there. But I do believe that Banyana will qualify for the next round. As number 1 or number 2. I do believe it. And I do believe that we should get into the top 6 as required. Whether it was straight to semi-finals or not, I do believe. And maybe as a closing point, is the decline of Banyana, have it been coming with Sundowns? Because I don't know if you recall the Sundowns ladies.
Yay, Champions League.
Even with Jerry in the CAF Champions League, even with Jerry, I need to emphasize that it was an underwhelming last performance under his leadership. I forgot, was it quarters, but it was a disappointing one. We were defending champions then.
Yeah.
And then under Godfrey, we didn't even qualify.
Couldn't qualify, yeah.
So it shows that the decline has been there. We may not have been seeing it, but it has been there. So I don't know.
All I'm going to say, agent, now that the Sundowns jersey has 2 stars to match what the women did, I'm going to get a Tolagele jersey. I'm doing it.
Sure, Mr. OT.
I'm doing it. No, that was my team. I'm doing it. But anyway, thank you.
I think Kaizer Chiefs is Queens there. Aren't you going to go there? Bye, Mr. OT.
But that's fine. Different leagues. Look, I think to end this off, because we have gone over and I have to go, but I think what underlies South African or women's football as a whole is the idea of pity. I shouldn't have to pity you into believing that Thembi Kgatlana is one of the best players in the world. She's the highest transfer from America to Mexico. I don't know if that record has been broken, but she's the highest. I don't have to pity you into loving Banyana because Banyana have a WAFCON that they won in 2022. And if we talk about the world, they've actually qualified for the knockouts of a tournament. But the problem is that we view these things as pity. And then we come and bring conversations and thought pieces that come from places that maybe you don't know. It's okay to say you don't watch women's football. But to automatically come out and say that it's slow, or it's okay to watch women's football and then to come out and say, no, but the men's game is like this and like this and like this, or that men underpin it and you need to market to what. I don't believe those things work. Because we see the same problems with South African men's football. We complain here about Bafana that they don't get their games shown. Up until this run before the World Cup, people didn't know when Bafana was playing. He'd say this live, and then I'd see the comments where people come in and say, oh, I didn't know Bafana was playing. Even worse for Banyana. So I wish we would just take it seriously, and then you would see. We spoke about England and those places. Guys, Banyana played versus England, I think it was last year. And it was an incredible game. England, Bolusi Bronze, all of those guys, those ladies that we watched that side. Yeah, they had a tough time. Banyana in the World Cup beat a 28th placed Argentina, I think it was, a 16th placed Italy. They went toe-to-toe with the 3rd placed Sweden, and Sweden only beat them because they played high. They have the button. I always speak about the button with Banyana. So what Malume Kuto said about this Banyana team, that guys, Banyana is not, it's not a Bafana to the world. Banyana is a top team. So we should also look at it that way. And even when we speak about it, all I ask is that we be serious and we speak about the football behind it. I think yesterday's game has some underpinning things that are issues. I think there's a lot of similarities to where Bafana sits, where if you've got aging and maybe players that are going out of the team, that were stars that were overseas, does it become a question of developing another overseas star? Or do you look at Bafana and say, look at what happened when you went local? But either way, that's the conversation that we need to have, because I don't think, what shocked me about yesterday was that these are players that we've watched before, and to watch them play the way that they did was a little bit concerning. And what concerned me more than anything was it felt like there's camps there. It felt like there's players that play together and players that don't. There was a point where they were shouting at each other. And also the overlying problems in general, that, Hollywood bets started late. A lot of the players are coming into the league not having played adequate enough football. So maybe it might just be that first game was the cobwebs that you have to accept, that even in the semi-pro league, you haven't played enough football. You are getting warm within the tournament. And of course, the other things that happen. So I'm glad that we had this, and I'm glad that we could have this conversation. And again, if you're going to say anything, you can say whatever you want, but let's make it a footballing conversation. If Coach Des must go, you must say why Coach Des must go. If Coach Des must stay, you must say why. If you're criticizing Banyana, say why you're criticizing Banyana. And if you're happy for Banyana, also say why. Tinagatis babugela, guys, to have serious conversations. Bo Steph, Bo Busi, Bo Kuto, Bo Agent, waking up at 2 a.m. to watch these games. Abo Masi. So hopefully we can help shine some light onto that. Thank you guys so much for joining. Tomorrow we're going to be speaking about Tate Zungu versus Tate Terry Jordaan. The pros, the cons, the tips, the tricks. How we feel about what SAFA needs to do and where they need to grow. Because from most of the conversations we have here, come down to SAFA, and there's a big election happening, I believe, in September. So that's what we're going to speak about tomorrow, 4 p.m. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you're watching this, on TikTok, on YouTube, or on Facebook. 4 p.m. Hosa, guys, 4 p.m. Drive Time Show. Bye, everyone.